everybody, this is Cam from the Notebook Review. This is my second video now with my second batch of 5 of SPFBOX that were for the Before We Go blog team. Once again, this is my own opinions only, my own thoughts. If you have not watched the first one, then go back and watch that one as well. This will be books 6 through 10, just going down that list that we received. And that next book is Seeds of Inheritance by Amy Kozinski. It's 422 pages long. It just came out in March. This one, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. This book definitely threw me for a surprise, a much happier surprise than my last book that didn't have any ratings or reviews. This one had a much better description, but I still was not expecting space fantasy. This one is elves with spacefaring abilities. The basic premise of this one is that our main character, Berenike, 10 years ago, she was the mother and wife of the leaders of a rebellion against the Emperor of the Elves. Basically, her family, they wanted to have more children. One of the problems with spacefaring is that they have issues with infertility because of radiation. The basic tenets of the elven societies is that they are able to genetically modify plants and technology massively, so that all of their technology, their spaceships, everything is plant and technology based. It's kind of cool, but the elves themselves are not supposed to genetically modify themselves because of some issues they had in the past with that. This one, like I said, I was just really surprised. I did not expect spacefaring elves. Most of the story is basically about Berenike and the pain and shame that she feels for the way that the rebellion failed 10 years ago, and at this point she's a slave. She's got an implant in her brain that stops her from doing anything that would be disloyal to the Emperor at this point. Her former mentor really hates her now and does anything she can to cause her pain. Just a terrible situation. The real storyline is that Berenike's daughter, who she went into slavery to save, at this point is actually dating the daughter of the Emperor, and they're very much in love, and her daughter does not have any desire to continue the rebellion like her mother would hope that she would. That's basically where we are at the end of 20%. Like I said, I was really surprised about this book. I didn't expect the elves in space, but I'll tell you what, while it is kind of outlandish and crazy, it's a really well-written book. I enjoy it so far. I'm not 100% certain whether I will recommend this one as a semi-finalist, but I do plan on reading it in the end, and I will probably put out a full book review on my YouTube channel at some point because I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I'll carry on now, and let's go ahead and get to video number 2, and I hope you guys are enjoying these. Thanks. Hey everybody, it's Cam from the Notebook Review with my second review of this batch. It is called Tears of an Indifferent God by Isam Ash. It is definitely Greek historical inspired fantasy. We have a demigod named Gordonius. Our main character's name is Sola. When he was a kid, Gordonius was being honored at a festival in the city when there was an attack by fantastical creatures who were there to try to get Gordonius, Gordon as he's called later on. And as a result of the collateral damage while Gordon was killing these creatures, Solus's parents were killed, along with a couple hundred other citizens of the city. Solus grows up, we get 10-ish, 15 years later, and Gordonius and Sola is basically a council member, and their town is attacked by mentars. First I thought it was something wrong, but basically they're like bulls with human arms. Anyways, they vote to bring Gordon back to save the town, and obviously Sola's not very impressed with this. Well, Gordon and the chief of these mentars agree to have a duel in the town. Well, after Gordon kills the chief, the rest of the bodyguards break what they're supposed to do, and they attack the people. Solus was just getting ready to do something that he probably would have very much regretted, but he ended up helping fight off these mentars and ends up being voted a general to help Gordon out and go and try to wipe out the colony of these mentars. Now, the big issue here is that Sola really just hates Gordon. You know, he would prefer to be able to kill him to helping him out. Basically, you know, that's the general premise of this book. This is the kind of book where if you enjoy, you know, Greek mythology, then definitely a great example of it. Here's my one issue. Now, I think this book's pretty well written and probably would consider it a good candidate for a semifinalist spot. But for some reason, I just don't really care for either Roman-inspired or Greek-inspired, you know, mythology, history type fantasy, and I don't know why. That's a personal issue right here. And this is definitely my first book where I think it's a good thing that now this is a group project as opposed to a single person with the Before We Go blog team. So while I'm not personally going to suggest it as a semifinalist, if someone else in our group does, then I will certainly back that. I think it is well written. I think if you like that Greek mythology style stuff, then this will be a book for you. For some reason, not this book's fault. I just don't care for the style for some reason. Just never been my thing. So, like I said, not personally going to suggest it, but I do think it's a well-written, well-crafted story. And if someone else suggests it to be a semi-finalist, then I will certainly back that. All right, on to book 3. Hey, everybody. My third book of this second batch is Fruit of the Gods by William C. Tracy. I'm a little unsure about the page count. I see some different ones, but somewhere around 400 is what it seems like. This book is an epic fantasy. It's got a cool little magic system where your hair color and the amount of hair color you have determines your abilities. So people with no power are blondes. In this society, they are slaves. They're treated very, very poorly by the nobles. The nobles have some sort of hair color. The lore is that the gods gave certain people magical abilities that they can have by eating fruit. There's 4 different fruits, 4 different gods, and eating those fruits, you know, gives that magical ability for a relatively short period of time. Basically, while you're eating it and the juices are in your mouth, then you're able to do some sort of magical ability. It's kind of cool, actually. I thought that I got a little bit of a Brandon Sanderson feel from Mistborn in it, even though the magical styles are very different. I kind of got that whole like real unequal society, and then, you know, the people who have magical ability are at the top. They treat, you know, those who don't very, very poorly. In this case, like, you know, they can do whatever they want with their slaves. We have this main storyline of 2 girls who are slaves. They always have their hair, even if they, you know, wouldn't be blonde, their hair is bleached blonde, and so they can basically have, you know, whatever done with them. Well, their owner's wife ends up having some of her fruit stolen. She blames these 2, so they end up having to make a run for it. They had found something, some sort of magical item previously. They're able to get that as they get ready to run away, and they're actually helped by someone who has purple hair. They were unaware of people with purple hair, and they are, you know, saved basically in that first 20%. So that's where we got to in that first 20%. This kind of seems like a lot of real technical detail that I'm trying to get in a very quick period of time so that I can be under 3 minutes. But so far, I enjoyed it. I will continue reading it. I'm not entirely certain whether I will, recommend this one as a semifinalist just yet, but it is in the running for it. I found the writing to be pretty good. I actually really liked the magical system, and I thought that at least this far into it, I'm enjoying myself. All right, let's go ahead and get you to video number 4 and get this batch ready. Thanks. Hey everybody, my 4th book of this batch is Splintered Magic by Jolene Dolbert. It is an urban fantasy, really quick book, only 170 pages, and it follows a woman named Brigitte. She's recently divorced. Her husband was a jerk, and after they got divorced, she managed to, with the settlement money, buy back her childhood family estate. With the divorce settlement, she managed to buy back her childhood family estate. It's an old mansion with 600 acres. Right off the bat, the place is in real bad shape. She has had people that are renovating it. They've renovated enough for her to live in. When she gets there, it's a stormy night. She sees a cat that she thinks looks remarkably like the cat that was their family cat when she was a child. Spoiler alert that we find out real quick. It is the same cat who is, turns out to be about 200 years old and can talk, not just your ordinary house cat. We find out, really quick, obviously, if I'm talking about a book that's only 170 pages and I'm only doing the first, roughly 35, 40 pages worth of info here, that she has some sort of magical abilities. Right off the bat, she can see, she finds her way up to the attic and sees a bunch of stuff that was left from her childhood. She talks to the builders who say that they've never been able to find the attic, despite knowing it's there. She shows them and they still can't see the door, only she can. She goes and sees if something's wrong with her, and she meets, of course, her childhood teenage love interest, who might have some magical abilities of his own. The kind of book that, things are going to, I think we're going to find a town with a whole lot more magical history than we think like Salem style. Anyways, just read the first 20%. It was not a book for me. I did not particularly care for the writing. I just didn't feel like I could get into that movie in my mind with it, with the way the writing style was. So definitely not going to be a book that I plan on going back to finish or recommending for a SPFBO finalist spot. All right, on to book 5. Hey, everybody. For the 5th and final book of this second batch, I have Quing's Quest. It's a pretty standard isekai portal lit RPG. We have a young man like usual, late teens, early 20s. His name is Quing. He's a nerdy gamer who wakes up in a new world, the portal lit RPG thing. He wakes up in a cemetery and is attacked by zombies. He makes it to a town called Shadow Grove, where he ends up with some other people fighting off the zombies, goes to sleep. When he goes to sleep, he wakes up. When he goes to sleep, he, gets the whole quest thing, is told by some mysterious entity that he must save the world that he's in order to save Earth. I'm just going to come right out and say that I don't know if I would recommend this one as a semifinalist or our finalist, but of the 10 books that I've currently read, it is my second favorite of those first 10 books. I kind of like lit RPG. I've done about the last month. I did 10 new series just to see, and this one was a pretty enjoyable one. It's over 700 pages long. It's got the whole leveling up and all that stuff. Quing, our MC, has your standard video game interface that so many lit RPGs do. He was a nerdy gamer, kind of out of shape, not like a hero or anything, who manages to, basically just get lucky early on and then starts to get more powerful. 700 and plus pages. I read, about 140, 150 pages of this book. So I got a fair ways in. I thought that as far as the way it read, it read really fast. The lit RPG elements, not overwhelming. He kills some things, he gets loot, he gets to level up and stuff like that. But it's not one of those that spends an absurd amount of time going over titles and stats and all that kind of stuff. At least not, in the first 20%. All in all, I enjoyed the book. I do plan on finishing the book up at some point. Like I mentioned, it's the second favorite of the first 10 that I've read so far. I will, mention this one to the rest of the group as a potential semifinalist, but it's lit RPG, so let's be real honest. I don't know if the rest of the people are going to agree the same way that I do, but all in all, pretty enjoyable, standard version of lit RPG, if that's what you like. So far, it is pretty clean, not a lot of cussing or anything like that. There might be a little bit of romance coming in, but it's not in the first 20%. So, as far as that goes, it seems like it's clean that way. If, seems like a lit RPG either stays clean this way or goes into a real, the harem style. So I'm hoping it doesn't go that way. Liked it, but I doubt that it will be our finalist. Sorry to the author. All right, thanks. Bye.